It was the year 1815, and Napoleon Bonaparte, once the undisputed master of Europe, found himself at a turning point. After years of victory, his ambition had overreached, and the man who had controlled empires now stood exiled on the island of Elba, stripped of his title, his army, and his influence. Yet even in this diminished state, Napoleon's mastery of power was undeniable. In his final attempt to reclaim his legacy, he escaped Elba and returned to France, where his mere presence electrified the nation. Soldiers sent to arrest him defected, peasants flocked to his cause, and in a matter of weeks, the man who had been vanquished once again stood as emperor. His reign would be brief, culminating in defeat at Waterloo. But Napoleon's story endures as a testament to the intoxicating allure and devastating consequences of power. Power, as Napoleon's life vividly illustrates, is neither inherently good nor evil. It is a force, an energy that shapes the destinies of individuals and societies alike. Its pursuit is timeless, an intrinsic element of the human experience. Power seduces, transforms, and often corrupts, yet it remains essential for achieving greatness, advancing causes, and navigating the complexities of life. Whether in the grand theaters of history or the quiet dynamics of a family, power influences every decision, relationship, and aspiration. This universal relevance is why The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene has resonated with millions. Its pages distill centuries of human ambition, deceit, and strategy into a compelling guide for understanding and mastering the art of influence. Greene does not advocate blind obedience to these laws. Instead, he offers them as tools, neutral, pragmatic, and versatile. Like fire, they can warm or destroy depending on how they are wielded. To dismiss them as manipulative or immoral is to ignore the reality that power, in all its forms, is a fact of life. By understanding its mechanisms, we can wield it wisely or defend against its misuse. From the boardrooms of corporate giants to the corridors of political power, Greene's laws have found their place in the arsenal of leaders, entrepreneurs, and strategists. Law 1, never outshine the master, whispers cautionary tales about ego and discretion, while Law 15, crush your enemy totally, speaks to the ruthlessness, sometimes required in high-stakes competition. Yet, these principles are not confined to grandiose settings. They operate in the subtle dynamics of everyday life, negotiating a raise, navigating a social network, or even managing household harmony. Greene's brilliance lies in his ability to reveal the universality of these principles, showing that the dance of power is one we all perform, whether knowingly or not. Imagine walking into a meeting and sensing the silent power struggles beneath the surface. One individual dominates the conversation, while another watches silently, waiting for the perfect moment to interject. A third defers to the loudest voice, hoping to stay out of the line of fire. These dynamics may seem trivial, but they reflect profound truths about human behavior. The principles in the 48 Laws of Power are not abstract theories. They are a mirror to the realities we live with every day. By understanding them, we gain clarity, not only about others but about ourselves, our motivations, our vulnerabilities, and our potential. For those new to these ideas, the laws may provoke discomfort. They challenge conventional ideals of honesty, humility, and fairness. Yet history is littered with examples of individuals who achieved greatness by bending these ideals to their will. Cleopatra, for instance, secured her throne and influenced the course of Rome through her mastery of seduction and diplomacy, exemplifying the principles of charm and control. Julius Caesar, in crossing the Rubicon, embodied audacity and decisiveness, a testament to the power of calculated risk. These figures remind us that morality and strategy often coexist uneasily, and success frequently requires navigating this tension with precision. At the same time, the 48 Laws of Power is not a manual for deception or cruelty. It is a study in awareness. Consider Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. While it might sound sinister, this principle emphasizes understanding others deeply, their fears, desires, and motivations. Such understanding can lead to manipulation, but it can also foster connection and influence. Similarly, Law 28, enter action with boldness, encourages confidence, a quality essential for leadership and personal growth. The interpretation and application of these laws are ultimately left to the individual, making the book as much about self-reflection as it is about strategy. The enduring appeal of Greene's work lies in its storytelling. Each law is illuminated by tales of triumph and folly from history, literature, and mythology. We read of the cunning Louis XIV, who mastered the art of charm to keep his nobles in check, and the tragic fall of Admiral E, whose unwavering adherence to principle led to his betrayal. These narratives captivate, offering lessons that resonate across time and culture. They remind us that the pursuit of power is not a modern phenomenon. It is an eternal dance, performed on the grand stage of history and the intimate arenas of daily life. What makes the laws particularly compelling is their paradoxical nature. Many of them seem to contradict one another. Law 3 advises, conceal your intentions, while Law 6 urges, court attention at all costs. These tensions mirror the complexities of life itself, where the right course of action often depends on timing, context, and intuition. Greene does not provide a rigid formula. Instead, he invites readers to think critically, adapt strategically, and act decisively. This text will explore the depths of these principles, weaving together historical insights, psychological analysis, and practical applications. It will not merely summarize Greene's work but expand upon it, offering fresh perspectives and contemporary relevance. Through vivid stories, thoughtful reflections, and actionable advice, it will guide you in navigating the intricate web of power that surrounds us all. In the chapters to come, you will encounter the subtlety of power's dance, the way it seduces and challenges, uplifts and consumes. You will learn to recognize its patterns in the world around you and within yourself. And, most importantly, you will discover how to harness it, not as a tool for domination, but as a means of achieving your goals, protecting your interests, and contributing meaningfully to the world. So, as you turn the page, prepare to embark on a journey into the heart of power. The insights that follow are not just lessons. They are keys to understanding, mastering, and navigating the timeless dance that defines the human experience. Power, in its essence, is both tangible and intangible, a force that can be wielded overtly through authority or subtly through influence. It exists in a state of flux, shaped by context, personality, and circumstance. To define power is to embrace its complexity. It is the ability to shape outcomes, command resources, and influence others' thoughts or actions. Whether through a crown, a title, or mere presence, power manifests in ways that range from the visible to the imperceptible. Consider Steve Jobs, a figure synonymous with visionary leadership but also a cautionary tale of power's duality. Jobs revolutionized technology, creating products that transformed how we communicate, work, and entertain ourselves. His power lay not just in his technical genius but in his charisma, his ability to inspire others to believe in his vision. Yet, his influence was not without controversy. Former employees recount his relentless drive, his demand for perfection, and his often ruthless disregard for those who failed to meet his standards. In Jobs, we see power as both a creative force, birthing innovation, and a destructive one, alienating colleagues and burning bridges. His legacy, like that of power itself, defies simple categorization. Power is inherently contextual. In a democratic society, it may lie in the ability to rally public opinion, as seen in the campaigns of Martin Luther King Jr., who used the moral authority of nonviolence to challenge systemic injustice. In contrast, autocratic regimes like that of Joseph Stalin wield power through fear and suppression. These contrasting examples highlight how the structures surrounding power influence its expression. In personal relationships, power often plays out in subtler forms. A parent guiding a child, a mentor shaping a protege, or a friend influencing decisions. Each scenario demonstrates that power adapts to the cultural, political, and personal environment, morphing to suit its host. To understand power fully, we must examine the psychological underpinnings that drive it. Humans are inherently drawn to power, whether to possess it or to align themselves with those who wield it. Fear is one of the most potent motivators. Fear of failure, irrelevance, or vulnerability often propels individuals to seek control over their circumstances, leading them to amass power as a shield. Ambition, too, plays a central role. From Alexander the Great's insatiable quest for conquest to modern entrepreneurs striving to disrupt industries, ambition fuels the pursuit of power, often at great personal cost. Charisma adds another layer, serving as an invisible magnet that draws people in. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, spoke of the leader who commands without speaking, whose very presence instills confidence and loyalty. Charismatic individuals such as John F. Kennedy or Oprah Winfrey exemplify this quality, using their natural magnetism to inspire and influence. Yet, charisma is not an inherent good. It is a tool that can be wielded for altruistic or manipulative ends. Adolf Hitler, for instance, used his charisma to lead a nation astray. Stark reminder of power's potential for harm. Machiavelli, in The Prince, understood this duality of power better than most. He advocated for a pragmatic approach, recognizing that moral virtue and effective leadership often conflict. To maintain power, he argued, one must be willing to act against conventional ethics when necessary. This perspective aligns with Greene's 48 Laws, which do not prescribe moral guidelines, but instead offer a candid exploration of power's mechanics. To some, this candor feels unsettling, as it reveals truths about human nature that we often prefer to ignore. Critics of the 48 Laws of Power have accused it of promoting manipulation and deceit, yet such critiques misunderstand the book's intent. Power itself is neutral. Its morality lies in its application. Nelson Mandela, for instance, wielded power with a profound sense of justice, uniting a fractured nation and dismantling a system of oppression. His strategic use of forgiveness and reconciliation exemplifies how power, applied ethically, can uplift societies. Conversely, historical figures like Stalin or Pol Pot demonstrate the destructive potential of unchecked power, where personal ambition overrides the collective good. This moral ambiguity is what makes power both fascinating and perilous. It demands constant vigilance and introspection. Those who wield it must navigate the fine line between influence and coercion, between leadership and domination. The stories of the past and the realities of the present serve as reminders that power, for all its potential, carries an inherent risk of corruption. Lord Acton's timeless observation, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely," underscores this truth, cautioning us against blind ambition. The dynamics of power are further complicated by its interplay with identity and perception. In the eyes of others, power is as much about appearance as it is about substance. A leader who projects confidence, even in uncertainty, commands greater loyalty than one who falters. This principle evident in Law 34, "Be royal in your own fashion," highlights the importance of cultivating an aura of authority. It is not enough to possess power. One must be seen as powerful to wield it effectively. Julius Caesar understood this when he donned the laurel wreath, symbolizing his divine favor and cementing his image as a leader ordained by destiny. However, power is not invulnerable. It is inherently unstable, subject to the whims of circumstance and the ambitions of others. History is replete with examples of those who rose to great heights only to fall victim to hubris or betrayal. Marie Antoinette, oblivious to the plight of her people, became a symbol of excess and the target of revolutionary fervor. Her downfall serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of ignoring the social currents that shape power's foundation. To navigate this complex landscape, one must develop both self-awareness and strategic acumen. Greene's laws provide a framework for this, emphasizing the importance of adaptability, timing, and perspective. They teach us to observe keenly, act decisively, and reflect continuously. By understanding the psychological triggers that drive human behavior, fear, desire, envy, and loyalty, we can anticipate and influence the actions of others while safeguarding our own positions. Yet, with this understanding comes responsibility. Power is not a game to be played recklessly, for its consequences ripple far beyond the individual. A leader's decisions can alter the course of nations. A parent's guidance can shape a child's future. The stakes are high, and the costs of misuse are profound. Thus, the pursuit of power must be tempered by a commitment to ethical principles, a recognition that influence, at its best, serves not just the self but the greater good. In exploring the anatomy of power, we uncover its paradoxical nature, its capacity to inspire and to corrupt, to build and to destroy. It is a force as old as humanity itself, entwined with our deepest fears and highest aspirations. To understand power is to understand ourselves, to confront the truths that lie beneath the surface of our interactions and ambitions. It is a journey that demands both intellect and courage, for the insights it offers are as challenging as they are illuminating. As we continue this exploration, the lessons of history and the insights of Greene's laws will serve as our guides. They will reveal not only the mechanics of power but also its profound implications for our lives and our world. Whether we seek to lead, to protect, or simply to navigate the complexities of life, this understanding equips us with the tools to do so with wisdom and intention. Power is not an end in itself. It is a means to shape, to create, and to leave a legacy that endures. The pursuit of influence, like the pursuit of power, begins with perception. How others see us defines the opportunities they offer, the respect they extend, and the trust they withhold. Self-presentation is not vanity. It is strategy. Those who master it understand that the world judges not only by substance but by appearance. Law 1, never outshine the master, encapsulates this principle with a warning. Brilliance unchecked can intimidate or provoke envy. To challenge the status of those above you is to risk their ire, as countless ambitious protégés have learned too late. Marilyn Monroe provides a striking example of self-presentation subtleties. Known for her dazzling charm and effortless allure, Monroe's persona was no accident. She carefully crafted an image of vulnerability that disarmed those around her, making them eager to protect and support her. Yet beneath this facade lay a keen understanding of human nature and the power of perception. Monroe knew when to shine and when to recede, ensuring that her presence was always appreciated but never threatening. Her calculated self-awareness allowed her to navigate the complexities of fame and influence with extraordinary success. Elon Musk, though a figure of a different era, employs a similarly deliberate approach. Musk's public persona oscillates between visionary genius and enigmatic provocateur, a balance that keeps the world watching. By saying less than necessary, law 4 in action, he invites speculation, ensuring that every tweet, interview, or product announcement becomes an event. Musk's mystique fuels his influence, drawing attention and loyalty, even as it masks his vulnerabilities. His story underscores that power often lies not in what is said but in what is withheld, allowing others to fill the gaps with their imagination. These examples illustrate a broader truth. Self-presentation shapes not only how we are perceived but also how we are treated. By controlling the narrative of who we are, we influence how others respond to us, whether with admiration, deference, or trust. Yet this control requires vigilance. A single misstep, a moment of indiscretion or overreach, can unravel years of carefully cultivated image. Those who wield influence effectively understand that self-presentation is not a one-time effort but a lifelong discipline. Beneath the surface of power lies strategy, the ability to think several moves ahead, anticipating outcomes and adapting to circumstances. Law 3, conceal your intentions, reflects this truth. To reveal too much is to invite opposition, while secrecy preserves flexibility. Catherine the Great exemplified this principle in her ascent to power. As a young and relatively unknown figure in the Russian court, she carefully concealed her ambitions, building alliances and cultivating loyalty in the shadows. When the moment came, she struck decisively, orchestrating a coup that placed her on the throne. Her success was not just a matter of timing but of meticulous planning and discretion. In modern contexts, this strategic mindset remains invaluable. Negotiations, for example, often hinge on selective honesty, Law 12 in Greene's lexicon. By revealing only what is necessary and framing it in ways that serve their goals, skilled negotiators shape outcomes to their advantage. The art of selective honesty is not about deception but about focus, guiding attention to what matters and away from what does not. It is the difference between an argument won and a deal lost, a skill as vital in corporate boardrooms as in personal relationships. Timing, however, is as crucial as strategy. Even the most brilliant plan falters if executed too early or too late. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. And Law 42. Strike the shepherd. Emphasize this interplay between foresight and patience. Winston Churchill understood this dynamic during World War II, orchestrating a series of strategic maneuvers that relied on precise timing. Whether rallying public opinion, coordinating with allies, or deploying military forces, Churchill's ability to plan and wait for the right moment often tipped the scales in Britain's favor. His story reminds us that power, like a chess game, demands not only bold moves but careful preparation. Patience, however, is not passive. It is an active choice, a refusal to act rashly, even when provoked. The ability to wait, to observe, and to choose the opportune moment is a cornerstone of influence. Impulsivity may offer short-term gains, but it rarely leads to lasting power. Those who master timing understand that restraint is not weakness but strength, a sign of confidence and control. It is a skill that requires practice and discipline, but its rewards are immeasurable. Yet, as we explore the mechanics of influence, we must confront its ethical dimensions. The thin line between influence and manipulation, leadership and exploitation, demands careful navigation. Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. For instance, reflects a strategy that, while effective, raises moral questions. Is it justifiable to leverage others' efforts for personal gain? Or does such behavior erode trust and integrity, undermining the very foundation of influence? History offers examples of both paths. Whistleblowers, reformers, and activists often challenge unethical systems of power, using their influence to advocate for justice and change. Nelson Mandela's leadership during South Africa's transition from apartheid exemplifies this altruistic use of power. By prioritizing reconciliation over retribution, Mandela fostered unity and healing in a deeply divided nation. His approach stands in stark contrast to figures like Richard Nixon, whose manipulative tactics ultimately led to his downfall. These stories remind us that while the pursuit of power is often amoral, its application need not be. Ultimately, the art of influence is not about domination but balance. It requires a deep understanding of oneself and others, a willingness to adapt without losing sight of one's principles. It is a dance as much about intuition as calculation, as much about empathy as strategy. Those who master it do not merely accumulate power. They wield it with intention, creating ripples that extend far beyond their immediate sphere. As we conclude this journey through Greene's laws, we return to the timeless truths they illuminate. Power, influence, and strategy are not ends in themselves but tools. Tools that can shape lives, alter destinies, and leave lasting legacies. By understanding their dynamics, we equip ourselves not only to navigate the complexities of the world but to contribute meaningfully to it. Whether in the grand arenas of history or the intimate moments of daily life, the principles of power remain as relevant today as they were in the past. To master them is not merely to succeed but to understand the intricate, ever-shifting dance of human connection and ambition. In the intricate weave of modern life, the dynamics of power manifest in countless ways. From the corner office to the virtual realm, from intimate relationships to public platforms, the principles that govern influence remain timeless even as their arenas evolve. Greene's The 48 Laws of Power offers a compass to navigate these terrains, not as prescriptive commands but as insights into the forces that shape our interactions and decisions. In the workplace, power often takes on a subtle yet potent form. Corporate culture thrives on perception, ambition, and the delicate dance of office politics. Law 32, play to people's fantasies, finds profound expression here, as leaders craft compelling visions to galvanize teams and stakeholders. Jeff Bezos, for instance, transformed Amazon from an online bookstore into a global powerhouse by presenting an ever-evolving narrative of innovation and dominance. His ability to articulate a vision that appealed to employees' aspirations, investors' greed, and customers' desire for convenience was a masterclass in this law's application. Bezos' speeches and strategies didn't merely outline goals, they wove a tapestry of potential futures, each more compelling than the last, ensuring his audience's allegiance and belief. Navigating office dynamics also requires finesse in managing relationships upward and laterally. The art of influence lies not only in grand gestures but in everyday interactions. A well-timed compliment, a display of competence without arrogance, or an offer of assistance that aligns with mutual goals are all subtle yet powerful moves. These actions align with Greene's advice to never outshine the master, as they focus attention on the success of others while positioning oneself as indispensable. Sheryl Sandberg's rise at Facebook exemplifies this balance, as she skillfully aligned her expertise with the company's vision while maintaining humility and approachability. Her leadership style demonstrated the power of calculated deference, coupled with undeniable capability. In personal relationships, power dynamics are equally present, though often less visible. The interplay of dependence, trust, and control creates a complex emotional economy. Law 11, make people dependent on you, illustrates a principle that, while seemingly cold, reflects a deeper truth about human connections. Dependence need not stem from manipulation. It can emerge from genuine support and reliability. Michelle and Barack Obama's partnership exemplifies this dynamic in its most constructive form. Their mutual reliance on one another's strengths, his oratory, her pragmatism, fostered a relationship that amplified their collective impact. Dependency, in this context, was not about control but about complementarity, a reminder that power in relationships can be both shared and mutually empowering. Yet not all power in relationships is altruistic. Law 17, keep others in suspended terror, speaks to a darker side of influence. While the phrasing evokes fear-based tactics, its essence lies in maintaining unpredictability, a quality that, in moderation, can heighten attraction and engagement. In both romantic and platonic bonds, a hint of mystery can sustain interest, creating an aura of intrigue that captivates. Historical figures like Cleopatra understood this well, wielding charm and mystique to keep their admirers perpetually enthralled. In modern contexts, this might translate to being deliberate about the information one shares, cultivating a sense of depth that invites curiosity and admiration. As the digital age accelerates, the arenas for power expand exponentially. Social media, with its infinite reach and ephemeral trends, epitomizes Law 6, court attention at all costs. Influencers and content creators embody this principle, crafting personas and narratives designed to captivate. Virality itself has become a form of currency, with individuals and brands leveraging attention to shape public discourse and behavior. Figures like Kim Kardashian have turned the cultivation of attention into an empire, demonstrating the immense potential of this strategy when executed with precision and consistency. However, the pursuit of attention must be tempered by authenticity, as the digital audience is both fickle and discerning. A single misstep, a poorly judged comment, or an inauthentic gesture can result in swift backlash, undoing years of influence in moments. The strategies behind digital power extend beyond individual personalities to encompass movements and campaigns. Political figures, activists, and brands alike harness the principles of Greene's laws to amplify their messages. The Black Lives Matter movement, for example, leveraged the viral potential of social media to galvanize global awareness and action. By crafting narratives that resonated deeply and mobilizing digital communities, it demonstrated the profound impact of coordinated influence. Yet, the same platforms that empower movements also enable manipulation, as seen in misinformation campaigns that exploit trust and amplify division. These dualities underscore the need for ethical vigilance in wielding digital power. Ultimately, the application of Greene's laws requires introspection. Power, as a concept, is neither inherently good nor bad. Its morality lies in its intent and execution. Reflecting on one's relationship with power involves examining not only personal ambitions but also the values that underpin them. Greene's work challenges readers to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature, yet it also offers an opportunity for growth. By understanding the mechanics of influence, individuals can develop a more intentional approach to their interactions and decisions. Practical tools for this self-reflection include journaling, feedback from trusted peers, and mindfulness practices that cultivate awareness. Questions such as what drives my pursuit of influence, and how do my actions align with my long-term goals and values, provide a starting point for deeper exploration. Greene's laws, when applied thoughtfully, become not just strategies for navigating power dynamics but frameworks for personal evolution. The journey through power's intricacies reveals a tapestry woven with ambition, creativity, and responsibility. It is a force that shapes societies and relationships, a tool that, when understood, allows individuals to navigate life's complexities with clarity and purpose. Whether one seeks to lead, support, or simply thrive, the principles of influence offer guidance rooted in both historical wisdom and modern relevance. As the dance of power continues, those who approach it with insight, intention, and integrity will find themselves not only mastering the game but redefining it in ways that resonate with their highest aspirations. As we reach the conclusion of our exploration into Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power, it becomes clear that the principles outlined within these laws are not mere strategies for personal success but reflections of the deep currents of human nature and society. They resonate because they tap into the fundamental truths of how power functions, how it moves, shifts, and manifests across different contexts. These laws, derived from centuries of history and human experience, offer timeless guidance for understanding influence, navigating complex dynamics, and ultimately mastering the art of power. The journey through these laws has revealed a nuanced landscape where power is not a singular force but a multifaceted phenomenon, shaped by ambition, perception, timing, and, perhaps most critically, human psychology. We have seen how self-presentation, strategic manipulation, and ethical considerations interweave to create a potent force that can either uplift or destroy. Each law serves as a tool capable of facilitating success but also demanding responsibility. Whether one is in a boardroom, a relationship, or the public eye, the laws remind us that power is not only about winning. It is about understanding the broader forces at play and exercising that understanding in ways that shape both our own lives and the world around us. As we reflect on this journey, it is important to recognize that the application of these laws goes beyond mere tactics. At their core, they encourage us to reflect on the kind of power we wish to wield and how we can do so in a manner that serves not only our personal goals but also the greater good. Power, when used responsibly, has the potential to drive transformation. It is not an inherently corrupting force, but one that can be harnessed for progress, innovation, and even social change. When we wield power with integrity and foresight, we create ripples that extend beyond ourselves, impacting communities, systems, and societies at large. Consider the example of Nelson Mandela, a man who mastered the complexities of power and influence not through manipulation or dominance, but through wisdom, restraint, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Mandela's leadership during the transition from apartheid in South Africa is a testament to the idea that power, when tempered with morality, can achieve extraordinary outcomes. He understood the dynamics of power at a level that few could comprehend, and yet, instead of using that knowledge to perpetuate cycles of violence or retribution, he chose a path of reconciliation. By doing so, Mandela not only dismantled a deeply entrenched system of oppression but also established a new framework for leadership, one that sought to heal rather than divide, to unify rather than conquer. Mandela's journey is a powerful reminder of the potential for power to be wielded for collective good. It speaks to the idea that true power does not lie in the ability to dominate others, but in the ability to inspire, to build consensus, and to create lasting change. His story also underscores the fact that power is a responsibility. It is a tool, yes, but one that carries profound implications. Those who hold power must constantly examine their motives, their methods, and their consequences, ensuring that their actions align with both their principles and the needs of the broader community. In contrast, history is also replete with figures who, despite their immense power, failed to recognize its responsibility, using it to enrich themselves or perpetuate harm. The likes of dictators and tyrants, who have risen to power through fear and manipulation, remind us of the dangers of unchecked influence. These figures, too, understood the laws of power, but their disregard for morality ultimately led to their downfall. Their stories serve as cautionary tales, reinforcing the idea that power without integrity is inherently unstable. The lessons we take from them are not just about the risks of manipulation, but about the responsibility that accompanies great influence. Power, unchecked by morality, is fleeting, fragile, and ultimately destructive. Thus, as we close this exploration of power, we are left with a deeper understanding of its complexities. The laws of power, as described by Greene, offer valuable insights into the mechanics of influence, but they also challenge us to reflect on how we use that knowledge. Power is not a game to be played recklessly. It is a tool to be wielded with care, foresight, and, most importantly, an awareness of its broader implications. As we apply these laws in our own lives, whether in the workplace, in personal relationships, or in our roles within society, we must ask ourselves, what kind of power do we want to have? What kind of impact do we want to leave behind? Do we want our influence to be one that fosters growth, innovation, and justice, or one that sows division, fear, and destruction? The power we wield will ultimately reflect the choices we make, both in how we exert influence and how we choose to hold ourselves accountable for that influence. This question of power and responsibility is perhaps best encapsulated in the story of Mahatma Gandhi, whose leadership in India's struggle for independence demonstrated a form of power that was rooted not in force or coercion but in moral conviction and nonviolent resistance. Gandhi's rise to prominence was not marked by military might or political manipulation, but by his ability to mobilize millions through the sheer force of his moral example. He understood that true power comes not from subjugating others but from aligning oneself with truth and justice. His legacy reminds us that power, when grounded in ethical principles, can transcend borders and ideologies, leaving an indelible mark on history. In conclusion, the legacy of power is not only defined by the rulers, leaders, and influencers who have shaped the world's course, but by the collective responsibility we all share in wielding it. Power is an inescapable force in human life, but it is how we understand and apply it that determines the direction of our individual and collective futures. As we move forward, may we do so with a keen awareness of the weight of power, a commitment to using it wisely, and an understanding that, in the end, the truest form of influence is one that leaves the world better than we found it.